What I've learned the past few years doing discovering is that the most knowledgeable people about any wild game species are the people who hunt them.
The drakes have green bills and the hens have brown.
Recently, I tagged along on a couple ruffed grouse and duck hunts, hoping to capture some good hunting action and learn more about hunting them, and I did, but I also learned a lot about the species themselves. Tonight is all about the birds, so sit back and relax. It's Monday night and it's time for Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill. The eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
On a beautiful fall day, I found myself on a 2-track in the middle of the woods, following a couple of bird dogs, Hoover and Copper, and their humans, Jim and Robbie. We're bird hunting. In the UP, that normally means we are hunting for ruffed grouse.
That's Copper.
Copper.
1 year old. He had his birthday last week. He's been on fire. Yeah, he's been on fire. Man, you've just been pointing him up like crazy.
Hoover's 8.5 now.
8.5.
That fast. Boom.
He's got the seniority. Right there. That's the way it looks. Where'd that birdie go, huh? Where is he? Come on. It's possible they're just that nervous. They hear us coming down the road and they're taking off before we get there. Well, it was a good looking point, if nothing else. It's supposed to be a bird at the end of that point, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. Whoa. Whoa. Did you hear it take off? I thought I did too, way back there. It's how fast those things run in a little bit of time. They'll put 80 yards in that little time you sit there and dink around. Birds can outrun us in this stuff. They flew, yeah. Right over your shoulder.
You should jump up there too.
A biscuit. Well, it is.
Half of what you hear, if you see them, and half of what you see, you get a shot at, and half of what you shoot at, if you kill them, that's a good ratio.
Ah, there it is. Whoa,
Right over.
whoa. Let me walk back in there. It didn't go very far. Yeah, he's gonzo. See him back in there? About 30 yards straight back. Ah. Is that landing a tree up there?
I'm not sure.
Ah! Oh, you definitely shaved his tail feathers. There we go. Nice job, Jimmy. You knew there was a bird there.
There is a Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Touch it up. Bring it. Come on, Hoof. Here.
What a good boy. Look
Come.
at that.
Come. Here.
Hoo, 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 hoo,
Come.
hoo. Hoo, hoo-ba. Nicely done.
I know, it's been a long time, but that's there.
This one bird took us 6 miles, 14 miles for the dogs. Overall, Hoover and Copper flushed 17 birds, 3 shots, 1 bird in the pouch. We meant to get out another day and try again, but you know how that goes. And before you know it, a year has passed by. So here we are, another year older, another year wiser, and hopefully the birds are another year dumber. It's earlier in the season, pretty much peak fall color time, and the foliage will make it so we can't see as far into the woods. But man, is it beautiful out here.
Off we go on a gorgeous morning.
Absolutely.
Too far. To keep the dog in range, beginning of season has got to be close. Right there, and towards the end of season, as the leaves come off, he might be out down 150, 200 yards from me. So my little too far keeps him in that particular range. And you got to watch him, because he'll go on point back there 100 feet or 80 feet. Oh, they're right there. Grouse, right at you.
You got him.
Good bird, where is he? You get him? All right, bring him here. Good boy.
Good boy.
Come here. Copper, here. Copper. There you go. Drop it. Come here. Good boy. Look at that. Good boy. And I like to let the dog have the bird. He doesn't chew on it, but I like to have him possess, not just grab it away from him right away when he brings it back to you. Because he did the work, so let him have a little bit of joy with the bird there for a minute. That was a good boy. You flushed him right at us. You almost ran me over. So that would be the gray grouse.
Yeah, great for you.
Yep, that would be the gray grouse. I bet you we'll get a brown today, and the difference is like night and day. All right. Yeah. That was a quick point. He took off right away after he pointed him, but that was a good boy.
We had 3 close calls, and I was following the wrong hunter each time.
The second shot was pretty close. I didn't see anything come down, but let me take. Oh, there you go. Huh. I don't think so. I had to wait. The bird was so low, I didn't want to shoot the dog.
Trying to spot a bird in here, the size of a crow that is perfectly camouflaged, hidden in the trees and brush, is tough. Trying to get them on camera is even tougher. These birds need this camo plumage, as everything is out to eat them, including us.
Minus a pine tree maybe, but everything else has them on their dinner menu.
The average lifespan of a grouse is like 7 months.
Really?
Because a lot of them get killed in the nest, right after the nest.
Yeah.
And it's very rare to have a bird last 2 years.
We hunted the same spot as last year. This spot is perfect habitat for ruffed grouse.
You target pretty much clear cuts and aspens, because you see a lot of birds in there this time of year, but for a good bird habitat, they switched their thinking now. They're trying to get like 4 different habitats, like an older forest with a lot of masts and things like that. The young cut where they can have cover when the leaves are out for their chicks and stuff. A little more off. So they want to get like these 4 different areas to be able to combine, and that's good grouse habitat, not just the clear cut and then nothing else. Okay. So they want a little bit, so they want the yellow birch with the seeds on it, and the aspen where they, in the springtime when they got the cover and they can have their nest. Then they start move towards more of the open cover. Wintertime, you got to have a lot of evergreens, balsam. Copper's on point right up here. Whoa! At 11 o'clock. Right where Hoover's going in right there. 2 of them took off. Whoa!
That one, I think. Second shot.
I hear it.
Right there. Here. Come, here. Come on. Here. Come. Out. Young bird. Young little dumb one.
What is it?
The score is bird 17, hunters 2. 19 flushes.
And 2 was all we got. Maybe we'll try again next year and shoot 3 birds. Maybe more. Maybe we'll come back to this spot again, or try somewhere new. Whatever happens, a day spent outdoors is a good day. Duck season begins September 24th in the UP and runs through November 20th with a couple extra days November 26th and 27th. I went right away in the season with John and Nate in hopes of a successful early start to the season. The first thing I learned about duck hunting is you have to get up early and set up way before sunrise. Goose season began a few weeks earlier, so they threw some goose decoys out in hopes of dropping a few of those out of the sky too. In my opinion, it's a beautiful, calm, warm morning to be sitting in a lake. Apparently that's not really good for duck hunting though. Because the lake was calm, our decoys floated unnaturally in the flat water and looked, well, like decoys. Have you ever seen a still duck? They haven't either. Wind would have created better action in the decoys, and ducks fly better in the wind, so I'm told. Thankfully, we did not leave home empty-handed.
Take them.
It was early in the season, and John promised he'd take me again on a cold, rainy day and we would shoot some ducks. Well, he did live up to that promise, and on a cold 40-something degree rainy morning, we went duck hunting again. This time we found a farm pond, and our other hunter today is John's dad, Mike.
Zero bottom to it. A little farm pond like this, you don't really need a lot of decoys. We can run 6 to 8, 10 decoys plus a mojo duck, and that's all you really need for this.
We had some ducks land on the pond right away and waited for good camera light. These ducks were most likely roosting in a pond down the road, and this is a pond they will stop at after daylight on their way to feeding ground.
Ready?
What I'm learning is that hunting ducks means you need to be an expert on them. Their habitat, when they move, how wind direction and speed will affect their flight patterns.
I thought he was going down, so I started swinging on another one.
I think 2 mallards in the teal.
Between flights of ducks, we talked.
Just about every day off that he gets, we're out on some water somewhere.
I feel now, though, that it's John that takes Mike hunting, but for years it was Mike taking John hunting.
Yeah, he'd come out from the time he was old enough to walk. I used to have to carry him up there on my shoulders because I had a camo shirt on him. And he'd be tripping on it, so I'd carry him up there on my shoulders. And the geese would start coming, and he'd tell me which goose to shoot. When John was a kid, I was never so happy when he finally learned how to hit something. We used to hunt the big fields the other side of the highway over there. And he'd shoot and miss. I'd go on a mile walk, kick him up. They'd go over his head. He'd shoot and miss. And I think that one day I must have put on about 5 miles walking around, kicking them up for him.
That was only one trip. That was a weird day. I was off my game that day.
How old were you?
6.
6. You're off your game at 6.
Yeah. Good duck hunting weather.
Okay, coming around. Good shot. Maybe this time.
We kind of like to keep them within 25 to 30 yards with a modified choke. The 10 gauge with a full choke, you can reach out there pretty good. I can pretty much kill geese at 60 yards with a 10 gauge, but we probably should have had the 10 gauge on that last duck.
The daily bag limit is 6 ducks of any species, no more than 4 mallards, and only 2 of those can be hens. There are limits for other duck species that we're not hunting today. From where I sat, these ducks all look the same in the air. An experienced hunter knows every species, and there are 20 different duck species in Michigan.
Once you do it enough, it just kind of comes. I couldn't for years. That's where we shot a lot of fish ducks, mistaking them.
Young drakes a lot of times look like hens, but you can always tell by the bills. The drakes have green bills and the hens have brown. The young drakes there, they don't have the green head yet, so that's how you can tell them apart. These little guys, the spectrum on them, that's a green-winged teal, and this one is a blue-winged teal. You don't see many of these blue wings around. Most of the teal that we see are the green wings.
So this is my first duck hunting experience, well, second if you count our first day, and I'm learning how to film duck hunting as much as I'm learning about duck hunting. I missed some shots, could blame it on my freezing cold fingers, and I was trying to stay as still as possible before bringing my camera up at the last moment. Ducks have excellent vision. Because of the structure of their eyes, waterfowl can see 2 to 3 times farther than humans. So any movement, dark or colorful object is going to make them fly by over the reach of your shotgun. Ducks and geese can also see a much broader spectrum of colors, hence the need for all the camouflage from head to toe. We ended the day with a total of 5 mallards and 2 teal. Like all hunting, the actual shooting of wild game takes seconds, so we were unsure if we had enough good video for a story, so we went hunting again.
We have to hide the videographer. Between ground blinds for deer and duck blinds and goose blinds, I'm gonna go broke buying fence posts. Ready, Kristen?
This one.
I'm out of bullets. Take that. Oh. What are you doing that?
One got away. We had a limit of mallards by 9 a.m.
A couple double curls in there.
What are those?
The older they are, the curls on their tail.
Today I'm using a Winchester Super X3. I have a Winchester Super X2, a Winchester Super X3, and a Winchester Super X4. So a lot of times it's kind of a spur of the moment decision which one I want to bring. So I like the Winchesters. My dad's using a Beretta Extrema. Today I was using just Federal Blue Box, number 3 steel shot. For ducks, I usually just run 3-inch. I got a lot of 3.5, but I almost like the 3-inch better. Doesn't beat you up as much.
I noticed John placed today's decoys to the left of the blind and not in front like the last time.
Usually the ducks will always want to land into the wind. They kind of didn't today, but they were pretty low coming over. But usually if there's a pretty good wind, we were supposed to have like a 15-mile-per-hour wind today. You usually set them so they have enough room so they can land into the wind and try and place them where you want them. So it actually would have been further off to have a blind on the other side of the pond today, but we made do and it worked out for us. Hard to beat duck hunting. I love to deer hunt, but duck hunting, it's a lot more of a social sport. You're drinking coffee in a blind before daylight and you watch the sun come up. Watch the ducks cup up and come into the decoys. There's not much better than that.
That's all for tonight, and I hope to see you right back here next week for Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.